Hi, welcome to the ElectricmotorGP, and this is the ZS5. This is coming to Australia this year. It's going to be launched at the Melbourne Auto Show. I kind of snuck out of the Melbourne Auto Show to come and do the Bangkok International Motor Show because there's so much going on in the Bangkok International Motor. There's more options, more cars, more variants available, and I wanted us to be able to test this out. So we're going to test this today. The drivetrain, for those of you who've been in MG, are very similar. MG's got a little jog dial in which you can use to control your drive. You've got your 13-inch infotainment screen plus your 10.25 screen here as well, which is an upgrade on what was on the MG4. I think that MG has actually done a lot of listening to what the consumers wanted, and they've made the adjustments, and the adjustments are very, very obvious. Now, one of the things that you cannot fault the MG for having issues with is the drive handling. MG is reliable in the way that the steering feels very firm, very solid. The suspension is also firm. It doesn't waft about too much, so you're going to really enjoy driving this car. Now, for those of you who are on the channel regularly, you will know that I already have a video of the MG4 X-Power, which I recently did. It's supposed to be launching in about a week or two. And one of the things I really, really enjoyed about driving the MG4 X-Power was the fact that the suspension was good. Now, BIMS has done something pretty good with their planning for the motor show. They want you to be able to have access to the car, to be able to test its suspension, to test its acceleration, to test the suspension, and to test the drive handling. And we're going to do all of that today with this particular test drive. So we're going to be testing, first of all, we'll do the acceleration, and then subsequently after that, we'll do the Slalom, which is to test the handling and the dynamics of the car. And then once we've done that, we will do a moose test, which is to test the handling at high speeds. And finally, we'll go over a very bumpy segment to test the suspension as well. So I've done this already with one car previously, and I really found that they did this well. Now, I cannot say this enough. MG knows how to do the chassis of a car. They've got this right. They've got this right in the 2 or 3 different cars I've tested. And the good news for those of you guys who really love the MG4 is the fact that the MG4 is no longer going to be cancelled. So the ZS and the car that's coming in between the ZS are going to be independent models with different segments that are not going to be interfering with the segments with the MG segment at all. I'm also going to see if I can test drive a few other of the MG cars. One of the cars that I think you will really, really enjoy me test driving is the IM LS6, which is launching on the 5th of April in Melbourne. So, but for those of you who are keen members of the channel, I'm going to give you a preview of the car on Instagram today. So stay tuned to the channel, and I might also be able to give you a preview of the car as a short on the YouTube channel as well. So now that I've got all of that information out of the way, let me tell you what my thoughts are. The things I didn't like about the MG4 have been fixed in the ZS. I didn't like the seats, and the seats are much better in this particular car. It still doesn't have a decent amount of lumbar support, but it's higher, it's more comfortable, there's a little bit more support for under your thighs. That's the first thing. The second thing you'll also notice is the infotainment screen is a lot more responsive than on the MG4. So you've got access to your MG Pilot, you press the button. There's still a slight lag in there, but it's still very, very decent. Now, I don't speak Thai, so I'm going to ask my instructor to please change it into sports mode for me so we can do the acceleration test. This is a language barrier issue, but if you can look, MG has updated the screen so you can move. You've got your different drive modes in there available to you. You can actually change the drive from here as well. Unfortunately, this edition that we're driving is the Thai edition, which means everything's in Thai, and I don't speak Thai, so forgive me for the barrier that we're having. But if you look all around you, so you'll find the MG ZS there, you've got the IM LS6 in there, you've got the Depot SO5 in front of us, you've got the Zeekr X, all different cars available to test drive today. Aeon are actually here as well, and Aeon have got a few cars. And I'm also going to tell you something that is going to really blow your mind. I don't know how BIM's managed to do it, but we've also got Avatar 11 and Avatar 12 also present here for test drives as well. So definitely, for those of you who are looking for the motor shows that you want to attend, especially if you're living in the UK and you want to have an idea of what the right-hand drive cars coming out of China are going to look like, then the Bangkok International Motor Show is one of the ones you want to attend. Why? Because you've got a lot of options available to you. I've literally just seen the J-Crew J7, the plug-in hybrid, literally just now, and that car is also here to be test driven. So I'm going to get this the screen for you to face forward. We're in sports mode. We're going to accelerate. I'm going to floor this down to see how quick it can get. Now, unfortunately for us, we've only got the rear wheel drive options, not the all wheel drive, so which means this is not going to be the fastest possible option for the car. However, we'll do our best with what we got. BIM's really knocked this one out of the park. There's the EV9, there's the EV5, there's the XC40 plug-in, XC90 plug-in hybrid, there's the Deepal SO7, Deepal EO7, the Deepal. That's another car that would be crazy to test drive because they've got the all-wheel drive. Right, go. Like I said, this is the rear-wheel drive version of it, so it is a gentle acceleration all the way through, and then we slow down. Right. Awesome. Now, this didn't break your head. However, if you do end up test driving the all-wheel drive version, it's going to be much quicker than that. Do you guys have the all-wheel drive, the two?
I have just two-wheel drive.
Right, okay. So next segment, if you just...
IM6.
Yeah. Next segment that we're going to be looking at now is going to be the Slalom. So this one's at 40 kilometers per hour. We're going to accelerate to that point, and then we will move all the way around to see how well the dynamic of this car does at 40 kilometers per hour. Thank you. Right, so let's see how we handle. So we're at 40 kilometers per hour. We're dancing in and out. Like I said, you haven't got a lot of worries with MG. There's a bit of understay in the rear because this is a rear wheel drive. However, it still does very well in terms of the handling of the car at 40 kilometers around, just slaloming around. The turning circle is also quite impressive. I've just done a quick turn right down that point and it was really easy and fun to do. Now we're going to do the aggressive lane change at 60 kilometers per hour to see how well this car will change lanes if you have to do emergency lane changes at all. And again, this is one of those points when I say I don't think you've got a lot of worries with MG in terms of how well it's going to handle, because I've tested a few MGs and the handling is amazing. So now we're going to do a suspension test. So the suspension test is you've got a lot of bumps on the road and you want to see how well this car handles the bumps. We ready? Go. It's a bit too firm. It's a bit too firm. But it's not bad. You're not gonna feel too bad about it. And more importantly, the seats are better. The seats are better than in the MG4. The seats have got more support. The bolsters are solid. Everything about this car feels like it's an upgrade on the MG4. Now, MG, if you do get to watch this video, I said it multiple times in the video on the MG4 X-Power, I didn't like the seats at all. They didn't provide support. Gave me a lot of aches and pains. And gave me a lot of aches and pains when I got out of the car. My knee was hurting for almost a week afterwards. So please try and fix the seats in the MG4. The other thing I'm going to tell you, for those of you who are new to MG, this dial here, so this dial here, this is one of the best things that MG does. It makes your driving a whole lot easier, because one of the things you struggle with, especially if you're driving a Tesla, is making sure that you're on the right spot. There's none of that malarkey of changing the drive on the screen. It just happens effortlessly. So thank you so much for MG for letting us test drive. Thank you, BIMS, for setting this up for us. And I will see you guys on the next one.